Welcome. I'm Adrian Cross. Quick framing. Teams move fast, agents move faster, and that velocity hides a steady stream of stealth risk, data creeping into places it shouldn't, accidental commitments, and reputational drift. Today, a one-line primitive you can append to actions, datasets, and prompts that preserve speed without losing permission. I call it the consent token.
Amelia here. I like how concrete that sounds. We'll walk the 5-field schema, 3 enforcement rules you can deploy in minutes, 2 AI patterns to enforce scope, and a 7-day pilot script you can copy-paste. Short, practical, no governance theater.
Hook. Fast action without explicit permission is the hidden risk. You gain speed, sure, but you also create hidden authority. People assume implied consent. Agents act on ambiguous signals. The consent token makes permission explicit, machine-readable, and time-boxed. That one change prevents accidental authority expansion.
Quick example to make it concrete. A vendor shares a dataset, and the engineering team plugs it into a pipeline. Without a clear permission primitive, downstream teams repurpose the data for analytics, product, or partner sharing, none of which the vendor intended. That's where a tiny token attached to the dataset stops the drift.
Core insight. Permission must be explicit, machine-readable, and time-boxed to prevent accidental authority and data misuse. If you can parse it programmatically, you can enforce it in pipelines and agent prompts. If it's time-boxed, you preserve optionality. If it's tiny, people will actually use it.
And tiny is the trick. Keep it small so teams copy-paste and build simple automation, so attaching a token is frictionless. Big, legal-looking forms are what kills adoption.
Move 1. Token schema. The consent token is 5 fields. Say them with me. Grantor, scope, expiry/retention, transform rules, revoke handle. That's it. Each field is strict and machine parsable.
I'll read each field and the intent. Grantor identifies who, person or role, granted permission. Scope lists allowed uses. Expiry sets the time box or retention rule. Transform rules say which downstream operations are allowed, like aggregate, anonymize, or not share. Revoke handle is the single-line rollback command with provenance.
Now, exact copy-paste token examples you can use. First, vendor dataset token. Use this as a single-line attachment on the dataset record or vendor webhook metadata. Consent token. Grantor, vendor A, data steward. Scope, analytics, model training. Expiry, 90-day. Transform rules, aggregate, remove IDs. Revoke handle, portal/revoke/ABCD1234.
Second example, calendar decision, where a contributor permits a team to act without further sign-off. Consent token, grantor had product. Scope, approve vendor onboarding, up to 50K. Expiry, 48 hours. Transform rules, no external commitments. Revoke handle, calendar.revoke/event9876.
Third, an agent prompt attachment. Attach the token to the prompt metadata so the agent validates before action. Consent token, grantor, ops lead. Scope, draft internal memo. Expiry, 7-day. Transform rules, redact personal data. Revoke handle, agent.:/revoke/task42.
Those are intentionally terse. You'll notice we use role names where possible and restrict scope to named actions or broad categories like analytics or model training. Narrow language prevents interpretation creep.
Move 2. Enforcement patterns. Rule 1. Auto-attach tokens in ingestion pipelines and calendar metadata. Make it the default when accepting vendor data or scheduling cross-team approvals. Default, not optional.
Rule 2. Require token validation pre-execution for any agent or automated job. The executor checks the token and either permits or returns a one-line deny with provenance. If it can't find a valid token, block and alert.
Rule 3. Publish a weekly consent audit feed for high-impact streams, vendor data, automation tasks,
partner commitments, surface bypass attempts, and flagged tokens. That's your feedback mechanism to catch boilerplate or shadow workarounds.
Operational note: minimize friction by adding one-click attach buttons in your UIs and a tiny SDK snippet for pipelines. The goal is automation first. People should never have to guess whether a token was applied.
Move 3. AI patterns. 2 constrained prompts you can drop into agent orchestration. Pattern A, pre-execution validator. Before the agent runs, it queries the token and returns permit or deny with provenance. Example validator instruction you can paste into your agent. Validate consent token. Fetch token for target. Compare requested action to token.scope and transform rules. If action fits, return permit, provenance, token.revoke handle. Else return deny, reason, out of scope, log result.
Pattern B, redaction assistant. After generation, the agent runs a redaction check against transform rules. If output contains disallowed transforms, say exposing raw PII when only aggregate was allowed, the assistant removes or replaces offending sections and logs the incident with the token ID and timestamp.
2 practical points. Always log the validator and redactor decisions with token ID and user role. Second, when legal or external commitments are involved, require a one-line legal provenance field and human sign-off before a token becomes effective. That prevents tokens from implying legal consent where it isn't legal to do so.
Move 4, pilot, a 7-day script you can run this week. Day 1, require tokens on 4 decision streams: vendor data ingestion, automation tasks, partner commits, and sensitive memos. Day 2 through 5, measure blocked and modified actions, time to revoke, and token attach latency. Day 6, iterate on wording for any tokens that are frequently denied or bypassed. Day 7, review the weekly consent audit feed and make permanent the patterns that shaved time without increasing incidents.
Metrics to track: percent of actions with tokens, percent of executions blocked by validators, average time to revoke, and number of bypass attempts surfaced in the audit feed. If tokens become boilerplate, our first risk, those metrics will show it. That's when you tighten a schema or require human sign-off for flagged categories.
Addressing common risks briefly. Tokens can become formality if they're long or ambiguous. Keep them rigid and small. Teams might bypass tokens for speed, automate enforcement, and surface bypasses in the audit. And when regulated data or external commitments are in play, add that legal checkbox and require explicit human approval.
Fast action. Append a consent token to the next dataset or agent task you hand off. Use the provided one-line templates and enable the validator in your pipeline or agent orchestrator. Measure for 7 days and iterate. Small primitive, big effect.
One last practical tip. When you roll this out, teach people to read the token first. It should become reflex. Before you act, check the consent token. Patterns create power. This one creates predictable behavior at scale.
That's the briefing. If you implement the 5-field consent token, add the 3 enforcement rules, and drop the 2 AI patterns into your agent stack, you preserve velocity without creating stealth risk. Make your next move count.
Subscribe for daily intelligence you can act on. Try the 7-day pilot this week and report back. Short cycles beat long committees.
Stay agentic.